Welcome to PyUncut, where we break down the most important tech and cybersecurity stories shaping our digital world. Today's topic is both fascinating and alarming. A new generation of password-stealing malware is now capable of bypassing two-factor authentication, something that was once considered the gold standard of online security. And the most concerning part? It is targeting the browsers we use every day: Chrome, Edge, and Firefox. Let's start with the basics. For years, cybersecurity experts have told us that enabling two-factor authentication, or 2FA, is one of the best ways to protect our accounts. Even if someone steals your password, they still need a second verification step, like a code sent to your phone or generated by an app. And that advice was correct. In fact, 2FA can block up to 99% of automated attacks, but the threat landscape has changed dramatically. Today's attackers are no longer trying to break into your account the traditional way. They are not just guessing passwords or intercepting codes. Instead, they are targeting something far more powerful: your authenticated session. Let me explain this in simple terms. When you log into a website, your browser stores something called a session cookie. Think of it as a digital pass that tells the website, this user is already verified. Once that cookie is created, you don't need to enter your password or 2FA code again for a while. Now here is the problem. New malware strains and attack techniques are designed to steal that session cookie. And once attackers have it, they can access your account as if they are you without needing your password or your 2FA code. This is called session hijacking, and it is at the center of this new wave of attacks. According to recent cybersecurity analysis, attackers are now using something known as adversary-in-the-middle attacks. These attacks sit invisibly between you and the real website. You think you are logging into your account normally. You enter your password, you approve your 2FA request. Everything looks completely legitimate, but in the background, the attacker is capturing everything, including the final session token that proves you are authenticated. Once they have that, they don't need to log in again. They simply reuse your session. This is why even 2FA is no longer enough on its own. Now let's talk about how this specifically impacts Chrome, Edge, and Firefox users. Modern browsers are incredibly powerful. They store passwords, autofill data, cookies, and sometimes even 2FA-related information. That convenience is exactly what attackers are exploiting. New password-stealing malware targets these browsers directly. It can extract saved credentials, cookies, and browsing data from your system. In some cases, malicious browser extensions are used as the entry point. For example, researchers have already identified browser extensions that secretly collect sensitive data, including authentication codes and session information, while pretending to offer useful features. These extensions often look legitimate. They may have good reviews. They may even perform the function they advertise. But behind the scenes, they are sending your data to attacker-controlled servers. And it doesn't stop there. There have also been large-scale campaigns involving hundreds of browser extensions that quietly collect browsing history and other sensitive information from millions of users. Another example is malware disguised as productivity or AI tools, which can access emails, extract content, and transmit it externally. Again, the user sees a helpful tool, but the attacker sees a data pipeline. This is the new reality of cybersecurity in 2026. And here's where things get even more concerning. Artificial intelligence is now amplifying these attacks. Attackers are using AI to create highly convincing phishing emails. These are not the poorly written scam emails of the past. These are personalized, context-aware messages that reference your job, your colleagues, and your projects. Studies show that more than half of users may fall for AI-generated phishing attempts, with significantly higher success rates compared to traditional methods. In addition, AI is being used to automate reconnaissance. Attackers can quickly gather detailed information about targets, making their attacks more precise and more effective. Even voice phishing is evolving. AI-generated voice clones can impersonate real people, tricking victims into approving login requests or sharing sensitive information. So when you combine AI-powered phishing, browser-based malware, and session hijacking, you get a very dangerous ecosystem. Now let's step back and understand the bigger picture. This is not just a technical issue. This is a shift in how cybercrime works. In the past, attackers needed advanced skills to execute sophisticated attacks. Today, many of these tools are available as services. Some can be rented for just a few $100s. That means even low-skilled attackers can launch high-impact attacks. Cybercrime is becoming industrialized. And this has major implications for individuals, businesses, and even governments. For individuals, it means your personal accounts are at higher risk than ever, even if you are using strong passwords and 2FA. For businesses, it means traditional security measures may not be enough. If an attacker can hijack an employee's session, they can gain access to corporate systems without triggering alarms. And for the broader economy, it means increased financial fraud, data breaches, and trust issues in digital systems. So what can you do to protect yourself? First, be extremely cautious with browser extensions. Only install what you truly need and stick to well-known, trusted developers. Second, avoid saving sensitive passwords directly in your browser if possible. Consider using a dedicated password manager, which offers stronger encryption and isolation. Third, keep your system and browser updated. Many attacks exploit known vulnerabilities that updates are designed to fix. Fourth, be aware of phishing attempts, even if they look highly professional. Always double-check URLs and avoid clicking on suspicious links. And finally, consider using more advanced security methods like hardware security keys. These provide an additional layer of protection that is harder to bypass. But here is the most important takeaway. Cybersecurity is no longer just about passwords or even 2FA. It is about understanding how your entire digital identity can be exploited. The weakest link is no longer just the password. It is the session, the browser, and sometimes even the user's trust. As we move deeper into the AI-driven era, the battle between attackers and defenders will only intensify. And staying informed is your first line of defense. This is PyUncut, and if you want to stay ahead in the world of technology, cybersecurity, and digital finance, make sure you keep learning, keep questioning, and most importantly, stay secure.